Hi, welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. I had a hard time deciding what I wanted to do today. I did want to do another Pittsburgh skyline painting, but I was also really in the mood to do an abstract, what I call my center of my mind paintings, which really don't have subject matter, but are an intense reaction to color and texture and space, and which all paintings are, but in this case you either like it because of the way it looks or you don't, and you don't relate to things that you like to see. But then I thought, well, I really don't want to do it Pittsburgh. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I am going to approach this more as an abstract, complete abstract, and just really let the paint go, let it move around, and just react to it that way. And then I might go back and either reaffirm what I've got here or change it. So I'm just going to see. I'm just going to really be very creative, just really have a lot of fun. And I'm going to mostly use what watercolorists call water medias, because this is acrylics, but it can be used as a watercolor, called the wet and wet technique. If you've studied watercolors, you know that there's a lot of techniques, but the three main ones are flat wash, wet, and dry brush. And the wet and wet is where you really let the paint move around. So I'm just going to use a lot of water. And I don't have the canvas wet. I'm just going to just let it move around with the amount of water that I'm using. And it will. And just gonna really have fun with this. Now right now I'm not using any white. I'm gonna let the canvas show through, but I might after a while do that. You can see it's making ridges and doing all kinds of weird things. I am going to not have it real dark because I don't want to lose the skyline, but I am going to kind of almost ignore it as I do this and just react to it. I have my hair dryer ready in case I want to do another layer or whatever. I'm only going to go so long as always because I just don't like to have these real long. And just let go with it. Wanted to thank everyone. I am just short of 900 and I really appreciate that. I have been trying for quite some time now to really grow my channel. I've been on for a long time, but I didn't really do much with it. And I'm trying to use YouTube to reach people more than I was. I think that it is a very popular site, and I'm hoping to get more patrons. I'm really not at all concerned about being monetized. If that happens, that's fine. What I'm concerned about is getting more people to buy my artwork. I have prints too. If you've watched any of mine, you've probably heard this many times. I live to paint, but I can't take them with me. And it's very important to me to get my work out to this world. And I am pleased that there is quite a bit out, but there's plenty more. I'm always making more because I can't stop painting. It's just something that really is me. And has been since I was a child. Well, not painting. I didn't really take up oil painting, which is my main medium, until I was 12. But I've always been fascinated with art. And my mother was always impressed that when we went to a restaurant, they had those paper little placemats. She was always impressed that I would turn it over and start drawing figures. And I didn't think it was so weird. I thought, well, maybe I just figured probably everybody did that. But I realize now that I was rather unusual. And she had us take lessons. My older sister is also quite talented. And she had us take lessons on Saturdays. And that was cool too. I think that's great. My mother had the opinion that even though there is some art in school, she felt like there probably isn't enough to really give her kids some kind of culture, that there's more to learning than math and science, literature, reading, literacy. And so she believed that we really should have a cultural experience. So she did that. And I became just more and more interested. And in high school, I did something kind of really unusual, I think, is I spent several hours a day, I'm not talking one, several hours a day, painting in oils. I had a teacher that decided that there's no reason why you couldn't just put two classes together so art students could really spend some time doing their work. And learned a lot about oils. It's a not easy medium. No medium is easy. Don't let anybody tell you that any are easy. There are a lot of people that absolutely will insist that watercolors is the hardest. And I can see why, because it is so technical. But I really think oil paint is the hardest. And I have spent many years, decades, learning that medium. And I can do so many different things with it. Boy, some cool things happening. Yeah, I really just wanted to let this fly. Let it go. Maybe go back into it. I'm still not losing the Pittsburgh skyline, but I'm just reacting to this more as the paint around it and over it than the skyline. Now, the skyline, I must admit, is not as strong as it was. So I may go back into it and just take the outline out again, or I may do some things to the actual skyline. I haven't decided yet. But I really like the energy I'm getting, because I'm not concerned with any subject matter. I am just concerned with the way the paint looks. And I think it's doing some very interesting things. I'm gonna get some more blue in there. I would like to use some white, but I'm afraid that if I do that, I'm really gonna lose the skyline. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep on just doing a transparent use. Many years ago, I had a teacher that said, you know, you can use acrylics for watercolors. It's usually used very much like an oil paint, but you can use it for watercolors, and then, in his opinion, you get better color. I think so too. There's some great watercolor brands that you can get and all, and they're wonderful, but I really think that the colors are just better. And then if you've seen any of my artwork, you know that that is what my artwork is about more than anything. Just a reaction to color. Always been a color nut. Okay. Try to do a little more. Yeah, see, some of the areas have bled very well, and I don't really think I'll go back into them. I'm not sure I want to leave all these little white accents, though. I'm not sure of that. But anyway, I want to get back to why I'm building up this and trying to get somewhere with YouTube. I did want to say that if you know someone that is interested in original art, please send them my way. And if you wouldn't mind sharing my YouTubes, I'd really appreciate that too. Always having trouble with the red, getting it to really be vibrant. I don't know why. I got a really good strong red, but it tends to kind of die when I use it. I'm used to my red cadmium light in oil paint, and I just seem to have a hard time getting this. Okay, I'm not probably going to do a whole lot more. I think I've got a lot of really interesting energy going. I think I might get rid of the white dots. I don't know. It always helps to have a little white with watercolors. Oh, well, not always. Shouldn't say always. But it can help to have some white with a water medium, because it gets kind of a sparkle. So I don't know if I want to do much more with this or not. I really like some of the areas here played off of areas that are smoother and less complicated. But I do want to see that skyline better. So I probably will just go in with a brush and just make it stronger. And then I may have to do something more with the rest of it. I don't know. That's painting. It's fascinating. Super pleased with my latest oil painting. I felt like I did something that is different. And that's always what happens when you're an artist, is you do keep on changing. And sometimes there's a real big change, or it seems like it is to you. Most people look at it and say, oh, that's a little different. But there's something about the brushwork that I got this time that is very different from what I was doing, and I'm real pleased because it made the painting super complex. And yeah, I do want to get rid of the white. So it is a very, very complicated system. It's probably the most complicated system of brush strokes, colors, surface quality that I've ever done. And that's always exciting. I know, I can think back over the years, every once in a while, one will just like, oh wow, okay, I have really learned something. I have hit another plateau. I remember my first teacher always saying that, because it was hard. And he always said that, lots of times when it's really, really hard, it's driving you nuts, that means you're about to learn something. And that's true. That's true. And it is a learning process. I know there are a lot of people think, you just know how to paint and you paint. Well, yeah, you learn things and you know how to do certain things, but you keep on learning your whole life. And that is fascinating. And that's one of the reasons I keep at it. It's just such a fascinating experience. Like playing the piano, if you really are dedicated to that, and I do play, but I don't have time to really do tremendous things with it. You do get better. I know that my playing is better than it used to be, but my technique has gone down because my fingers just aren't as good. I don't think it's possible, unless I guess you do like David Garrett, the famous violinist, and you do 3 hours of scales every single day. I don't think it's really possible, or maybe I'm getting arthritis. I don't know, but I know I cannot move my fingers the way I used to. But in some ways, my playing has gotten stronger, and the expression's gotten stronger, and the independence of the fingers. I definitely have achieved that more. I'm definitely able to really separate out different parts of the piece more than I could. I really like that. I think probably all I'm going to do is go back into it just a little bit and just bring it out. I kind of like it that it is sinking into the paint. And then I'll have another skyline painting of Pittsburgh. So, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click on the link to see the final painting. The link will be in the description, and then there's a link to my Etsy shop, link to my website, and other sites with my artwork.